Question 15. The students in a class kept a record of the amount of time in minutes they spent doing homework last week. The table shows information about the amount of time the girls spent doing homework last week. And it tells us on the grid to draw a box plot for the information in the table. Okay, so this is a standard question here. We're told that the least amount of time is 60 minutes. So let's just have a look at our scale here. That's 50, that's 100. That means that each line must be worth 5. So 55, 60 is going to have to be here. So I'm going to draw a straight line like so. So that's the least amount of time. It doesn't matter how long this line is, by the way. You don't need to have any specific length. We're only interested in where it is along the x-axis. We're told that the median is 170. So we're going to have another line at 170. So there's 150. Like I said, every line is worth 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's got to be here. We're told that the lower quartile is at 100. So right there. We're told the upper quartile is 220. So there's 200, 205, 10, 15, 20. And then the last part, it says that the range is 230. Now, if this is 60 here, and the distance between the smallest value and the biggest value is 230, that would make the highest value would have to be 290. So it's going to have to be here. Okay, so how we've worked it out again, to get from here to here, the range is 230. So 290 subtract 60 gives me 230. So that's how we work that one out. Now we just got to complete the box. So remember that the box and whisker plot goes like so. And then finally we're just going to finish it off. And we're done. We get our 2 marks there. Now if we scroll down a little bit, it tells us that the box plot below shows the information about the amount of time the boys spent doing homework. I'm just going to annotate that. This is the boys. And up here we had the girls. Then the next part with the star, meaning we've got to explain ourselves clearly, it asks us to compare. And again, this is an incredibly common question in exams. When you're asked to compare, generally you tend to do it with box plots, or sometimes you might do it with a box plot and a cumulative frequency curve. You're going to talk about 2 things. You're going to compare the medians, and you're going to compare the interquartile range or the range. Normally the interquartile range I think is better. But one of them you must compare in the context of the question. So remember to give some context in order to get full marks here. So let's start with the medians. Let's have a look. Who had a bigger median? If we look at it, we can clearly see that the boys have a bigger median. That means they took longer. So we can say, on average, boys spent longer doing homework. And how do we know that? It's because they have a higher median. So on average, boys spent longer doing homework as they have a, let's say, bigger median. Bigger median time. So that'll get us the first mark. And then the next bit, we're just going to say which group had a higher interquartile range. Looking at the 2 boxes, I can clearly see that the girls have a bigger interquartile range. So we can just say the girls have a bigger interquartile range. And what does that mean in the context of the question? It actually means that the girls' times are more variable, are more varied, should I say. Okay, so like I said, when you're asked to compare, always talk about the medians and the interquartile range and make sure that you give one of your answers in the context of the question. In this case, I said that the boys spent longer doing homework. You could have said also that the girls' times are more varied, but that should be enough to get you the full 2 marks there.